A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry of the Circus. For Jerry of the Circus.
Who is it, Rag? Oh, I see. It's Johnny Bradley. Hello, Mr. Bradley.
Hello, Jerry.
How you feeling tonight?
All right. I might say exceptionally well. And how's Rags? His leg any better?
Oh, sure. It's getting well fast.
It pleases me to hear that, my boy. Rags has won the affection of all of us. A fine trooper, Rags. A mighty fine trooper.
Not so loud, Rags. The show's on.
I surmise he wants the audience to know that although he didn't work with bumps tonight, he's right here in the pad room ready to perform.
That might be. He sure likes to hear applause. He's getting to be a real actor.
You bet you are. You know, Jerry, Rags reminds me of a little dog my son had when he was a slip of a lad.
And you got a boy?
You bet I have. A grown man now, but still a boy to me.
I didn't know that. Is he a circus performer, too?
Oh, no, Jerry. My boy is a lawyer.
A lawyer? Golly, he must be smart. Where is he?
Why, he has his office in a big city.
Well, don't you ever see him?
No, I haven't seen him for some time.
Oh, here comes the Bandinis. I guess they're going to work with the net again tonight.
I didn't notice their act this afternoon. Did they have to use the net?
Sure they did. Their wire's weak.
Well, that's dangerous.
Hello. Hiya.
Jerry. Hello, Jerry.
Good evening, senor.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Carmen.
Hiya, I'm coming. Are you going to work with the net again tonight?
I guess we will have to. We cannot get a new wire until we get to the next town. I have sent a telegram for one, but it takes time to get it to it.
I think better we should go on without the net. We look like, how you call it, amateurs.
Better amateurs than fall and maybe break a neck.
Alfredo is right, Carlos. We cannot take so big a chance.
What seems to be the trouble with your wire, gentlemen?
He's only rusty in one spot. Maybe the wire holds for a long time. You cannot tell.
That's just it. You can't tell. So it's better to be careful.
Why you keep on talking, Carlos, about not using the net? Alfredo and me will not work without it, so that is settled.
How did your wire get rusty?
I do not know. It has been damp in this country, and no matter how we watch it and care for it, the rust, it has got started.
It will not spoil the act to use the net until we can get the new wire.
I have not used a net since I was boy, just learning to walk on a typed wire.
So it cannot be helped. Come now, maybe tomorrow we will have the new wire already. Look, it is time for us. Put on your shoes.
Why don't you work one at a time instead of all going out on the wire at once?
What? And not do the bicycle and the chair trick? Without those tricks, we would look like children. The people have paid to see the Bandinis perform, and we will perform.
Yes, he is right, Jerry.
The Bandinis never leave out one trick. It will be all right with the net underneath us.
Ah, the net.
Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It is my great pleasure to introduce to you at this time the world-famous Bendini, those renowned artists who have performed before the royalty of several continents, who have been applauded around the world, the beautiful and talented Carmen and the two clever brothers, Alfredo and Carlo. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bendini.
Here they go. Carlos is sure brave not to want to use the net.
I'm not so sure it's bravery, Jerry. Sometimes a desire for the spectacular lends itself to foolhardiness.
Yeah, I guess you're right. See, look. There they go out on the wire. Carmen is sure stepping slower than she usually does.
Well, hello, Johnny and Jerry. What's so interesting here in the pad room tonight?
Oh, hello, Bumps. We're watching the Mendini.
They're working on a rusty wire, Bumps.
Yes, I know. Oh, gee, Rags, I didn't notice you, did I? Well, I'm sorry, partner. Didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
That dog is sure sensitive.
Yes, he is, Johnny.
Look, all three of them are out on the wire now.
Seems to be holding them all right.
Now they're going to do the ride across with a bicycle.
I hope they get through without a mishap.
They probably will.
Golly, they did it.
Well, that's one of their tricks over.
They seem to be working faster now. I guess the wire's all right.
I'm glad I'm not up here in that rusty wire. That kind of an act takes cool nerves.
Would you be scared, Bumps?
No use me trying to fool you, Jerry. Yes, I would.
They're going to do their chair trick now.
Golly, I'll be glad when it's over. I'm getting nervous just watching them.
Well, it's a good trick just for the boys to balance that chair on their shoulders, let alone having Carmen doing a handstand on it.
Yes, it is. Why, it's one of the best wire stunts I believe I've ever seen.
They're getting out in the middle now.
Well, Carmen's getting up now.
She's standing straight up.
Golly, she's going to do her handstand now. Look, Greg, see the Bendini's way up there on the tight wire?
Just look at that girl. She's sure clever.
All three of them are real performers.
Look.
Hey, what is it, Jerry?
The wire, see it? It's starting to unravel.
You're right. It is, and right under them.
It'll snap, sure. It'll break right in half.
Oh, it's a good thing that net is under them.
There it goes. They're falling.
They sure took those falls pretty.
Carlos isn't getting up. He's hurt, Bumps.
I think that chair hit him. Looked to me as though it landed right on him.
Look, they're lifting Carlos out of the net.
Well, Alfredo and Carmen seem to be all right.
What do we do, Bumps?
Well, there's nothing we can do now. They're bringing them out here.
Quiet, Reynolds.
We'll take them right over to our wagon.
Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Just a minute. There's no cause for alarm. Everything is going under
Now you
control.
grab him by the feet, Johnny.
Okay.
Alfredo and I'll get hold of his shoulders.
Poor brother. Alfredo, what will we do?
Do not get excited, Carmen. Please, Bumps, you will help me.
Okay, now, Johnny. You got him?
Yes, Bumps.
We will take him to his cot in the wagon.
He will be all right,
Oh,
yes?
sure, Carmen.
Come on, Rags.
You run ahead, Jerry, and put a blanket down on Carlos's cot.
Okay. Come on, Rags.
What happened, Alfredo?
He was hit with the chair.
Just a good bump on the head, but he will get over it.
Gee, I hope there's no broken bones.
Oh, if he had broke his arm or leg, it would be awful.
Now, Carmen, do not talk like that. He is not hurt so bad.
Why does he not wake up?
He's unconscious, Carmen. Now he'll most likely come out of it soon.
Well, if that chair hit him on the head after falling 30 feet, he's got a pretty bad bump.
I do not think it hit him so hard. It just knocked against him.
Now, here we are. Easy now. Alfredo and I'll go up first. Yeah. You ready in there, Jerry?
Uh-huh. I got this cot all fixed with a blanket and a pillow.
Yeah, that's a good boy.
Hey, Rags, stop it. Carlos is hurt.
Now, easy. Easy with him now. Yeah, that's it. Lay him down easy.
Oh, Carlos. Carlos, it is Carmen.
I'll go and see if Mr. Randall has been notified and find out about getting a doctor.
Thank you, Bumps.
Yeah, be right back.
Get some water, Jerry.
Okay. There's some in this jug here.
Oh, Carlos, wake up.
You must be quiet, Carmen. It does Carlos no good if you are so excited.
Here's some water.
Here, put some on this towel.
All right.
Now, we put it on his head. So,
Oh, my poor brother.
he will be all right, you will see. Didn't I once bounce out of the net and was unconscious too?
Oh, the wire. The wire.
Oh, Carlos.
Yes, Carlos. You are all right?
Oh, Carmen. Alfredo.
Yes. Lie still, Carlos.
Is he coming to, Mr. Bradley?
There he is. He's coming out of it now.
Oh, what is it? Oh, my head.
Oh, the wire broke, Carlos.
Are you all right?
We are all right, Carlos. Just rest easy. Soon there will be a doctor come.
I will be all right. I know now. The wire broke.
Yes, Carlos, but the chair, it hit you on the head.
Now, let me sit up. I feel better now. Ooh.
Maybe it's better you lie still.
No, I will be all right.
Have you got any broken bones, Carlos?
Yes, Carlos. Look and see if there is something more wrong.
I hardly think it is more than that hit on the head.
Is there something I can do?
Oh, Jerry. So you saw it, huh?
Uh-huh.
So you will take my place now? Yes?
Oh, Carlos, you're not hurt bad.
No, he is joking already with Jerry. He is fine.
My arms are good. My legs are good. I'm lucky, yes?
You are lucky we had the net under it.
Yes, we would have been killed, all of us.
I will never hear the last of it, that I didn't want the net.
No, we will say no more of it.
I do not think I need a doctor. I've had bumps like this on my tough head before.
In your good physical condition, there's little doubt that you will rally quickly.
What do you mean?
He means Carlos will get over it quick.
I would go up and do the trick right now.
That's the spirit. You performers believe in going right back for more, don't you?
That is the only way. He must work tomorrow, or maybe if he wouldn't, he would become afraid and never work on the wire again.
That's the way airplane pilots do.
And that is right, Jerry. It is so easy to lose your nerve after an accident.
Well, how is it?
Okay, Bumps.
Well, the patient's sitting up already. Huh?
There is nothing wrong with me, Bumps. I just want to sleep. I took a little nap.
Oh, are you sure there's nothing wrong? He seems to be coming around all right, Bumps.
Sure, I was only fooling. I wanted to be carried to the wagon so I wouldn't have to walk.
I guess we know if you were fooling or not, Carlos.
Fooling her. You were, how you say, out like a light.
Oh, Mr. Randall is sending a doctor right over to look at you, Carlos.
It is a waste of time.
Yes, but it's better to be absolutely sure, Carlos. You know, we may have a bad night ahead of us.
What do you mean, Bumps?
You mean about the trestle being too weak to allow our train to cross that river?
Yes, Mr. Randall just received another telegram from the division superintendent of the railroad, saying that they would not route any trains over the Horn River route until they could fix the bridge.
That is bad.
What does Mr. Randall intend to do about it?
This morning when he got the first telegram, he said he was going on through. He said he was going to play the next town regardless.
Yeah, and that's what he said when he got this last telegram.
But how can we cross the river if the bridge won't hold the train?
Well, he wired ahead and told him to try to reinforce the bridge.
That sounds like a big order.
Well, he insists on going as far as the bridge anyway. Then if it doesn't look safe, he said he'd find another way to get through.
I, for one, have absolute confidence in Mr. Randall's judgment.
Well, I guess we'd best get back for the last walk-around, Johnny.
Hey, it is almost time.
Yeah, well, you take it easy, Carlos. I'll help Alfreda with your packing tonight. Well, you ready, Johnny?
Hey, coming, Bumps. Well, goodbye, gentlemen. Carmen.
Goodbye,
Bye,
Johnny.
Johnny.
Thank you, Bumps.
Well, Jerry, I guess you had some excitement tonight, yes?
I'll see. But I'll bet there'll be a whole lot more when we get to that broken trestle tonight.
Countdown for a blast off. X minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, X minus 1. Fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X minus 1. If you wanted to take over our world with a minimum amount of resistance and trouble, how would you go about it? Tonight we'll tell you how, with a strange and chilling story by George Lefferts. The Parade.
You are Mr. Sid Ryan.
The same.
My name is Luchar. I am a Martian.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. What was that again?
A Martian.
As in Orson Welles?
Precisely.
I'm a Rotarian myself. Sit down.
Thank you.
Now that we've had our little joke, Mr. Luchar, what can Publicity Associates do for you?
I am interested in obtaining publicity. It has been my observation that advertising and publicity are the very backbone of earthly civilization.
Spoken like a true Martian, Mr. Luchar. Now, if you'll tell me the name of the client.
The client, of course, will be the Martians.
You don't give up, do you?
Give up?
The gag, I mean. Oliver.
Yes, Mr. Ryan?
This is Mr. Luchar.
Oh, how do you do?
Mr. Luchar claims to be a Martian. Take him outside, will you, Oliver?
I am happy to see, Mr. Ryan, that my telling you I am a Martian has approximately the effect I guessed it would. I believe we can do business. I have here a cash retainer of $5,000.
Oliver, take a look at that wad of lettuce.
It's the real stuff, Mr. Ryan.
And my client is prepared to spend many times that amount.
Sit down, Mr. Luchar. Oliver, get the client a cigar, the 50-cent box.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, now, what can I do for you, sir?
I wish you to manage a publicity campaign. A very large and important campaign.
Is the product established, or is it something brand new?
Something quite new. Now, what would you judge the most effective type of campaign?
Well, if the client has a lot of dough to throw around, a suspense campaign is best. First, you place ads in the paper saying, "Watch this space." Then about a week later, you run an ad saying XYZ or PDQ, and you get people guessing what it means. Then finally, when you've teased them enough, you bust loose and unveil the product.
Excellent. We will conduct a suspense campaign.
Of course, in this kind of campaign, secrecy is very important. Once the name of the product leaks out, it spreads like wildfire, and the whole campaign is kerfloppo.
Quite so, quite so. The utmost secrecy.
You realize, of course, these things cost like crazy.
Would, say, $1 million cover expense?
Come again?
I said, would $1 million cover it?
Why, yes, I am at... You did say $1 million.
I understood that you have handled some very large accounts. Of course, if this is too big...
No, not at all, not at all. As a matter of fact, I seldom touch anything less. Right, Oliver?
Huh? Oh, of course, that's right, Mr. Ryan. Absolutely right, yes, sir.
You will begin, then, by saturating the newspapers, the radio, the streetcars with a very simple statement.
What's that?
I will write it on a card. Here you are.
The Martians are coming. Say, that's not a bad teaser. Got that, Oliver?
Yes, sir.
The next ad will read, June 1st is Martian Day.
June 1st is Martian Day.
What happens on June 1st?
The parade takes place.
What parade?
I wish you to arrange a parade up Fifth Avenue.
You mean like the Macy Parade?
Exactly. Except that the theme will be the world of tomorrow, the Martian world. My client would like it to be a gay affair. Balloons, clowns, pennants, pretty drum majorettes.
Say, that sounds terrific. I might be able to interest the department stores in a tie-in.
Fine. The parade will climax the campaign. On June 1st, the product will be unveiled.
Good enough. By the way, Mr. Luchard, just what is the product? What are we selling?
Oh, no, Mr. Ryan. Secrecy, remember?
Yeah, but after all...
Mr. Ryan, all will be revealed to you in good time. For the moment, let us say that we are selling a concept.
A concept?
The concept of invasion from Mars.
Sorrel Talent Agency.
Sammy Sorrel, please.
This is Sammy.
This is Sid Ryan over at Publicity Associates. Listen, Sammy, how you fixed for midgets?
I got midgets.
Fine. I need 40 midgets for a parade. 40. June 1st. And listen, Sammy, I want them dressed in little spacesuits.
In little...
You know, like men from Mars.
Mars.
Okay? And I want some movie extras, maybe 50 of them.
50.
Also rigged up like men from Mars. Make them look gruesome. Got that?
Gruesome.
Also, I need some horses with pretty girls on top of them. Maybe you can get that bunch from Maroney's Traveling Circus, the one we booked for the Fireman's Parade in Albany last year.
Yeah, I'll try, Sid.
Never mind the expense. Just get me the talent.
It sounds like you landed a big client there. Who is it?
It's a secret. I gotta hang now. Call me back, Sammy.
Right.
How you doing, Oliver?
Oh, fine, Mr. Ryan, just fine. I got 100 small boys pasting little stickers. The Martians are coming on the subway platform.
Good.
We got full-page ads in all the dailies.
Good.
And 10-second spot announcements on every local station.
Good.
It's costing a fortune.
Good. The more it costs, the bigger our percentage. Spend like you were going to the electric chair, Oliver.
Yes, sir. How are you making out in the parade?
If it comes off, it'll be the biggest thing since Barnum invented the midget. I've got Macy's, Gimbals, and Saks to contribute floats. Everything is built around the Martian theme, see? Even the horses will have long feelers attached to them and funny-looking extra legs. It'll be sensational.
That sounds fine, only...
Only what?
Mr. Ryan, we don't even know what we're selling.
Oliver, my boy, do you think old Sid Ryan has been sitting here spending all this moolah and not putting two and two together?
You mean you know who Luchar represents?
Just by accident, understand. I have learned that Century Pictures is making a big new epic. One of those expensive pictures they make in secret and then spring on the public because they don't want the other studios to get the jump on them.
What's the picture?
A space opera titled Invasion from Mars. Get it?
Oh, I begin to see.
Also, by mere coincidence, it's supposed to have its premiere sometime around June 1st. You follow me?
Yes, but, Mr. Ryan, Century has an exclusive contract with New Feature Syndicate for all their publicity.
Suppose Century Pictures doesn't like the way New Features is handling their stuff. They want to get out of the contract, but New Feature says no, so they have to get around the contract. A man named Luchar, client unknown, starts publicizing the Martian invasion. Need I go further?
Oh, I don't know, Mr. Ryan. Sounds pretty far-fetched to me, but I don't know.
That's what I like about you, Oliver. You're so innocent. Now, let me talk to Commissioner Patrick, please. Sid Ryan.
Hello.
Commish, Sid Ryan.
Oh. How are you, Ryan?
Fine.
What is it this time? You want to drop a man off the Empire State Building into a teacup full of water? The answer is no. Also, we're not arresting any fan dancers.
You know I don't handle fan dances. I want a permit for a parade. June 1st, 5th Avenue. It's a Sunday. There's no traffic.
Now, look, Ryan,
Macy's gets a permit. Gimbals gets a permit. The American Legion gets a permit. The Sons of Erin march every time Morton Downey sings the Wearing of the Green. Oh, don't give me a hard time, Patrick. This is too big. I have the 5th Avenue Merchants Association behind me.
Okay, Ryan. Fill out the forms. I'll pass them along to the license commissioner.
That's my boy.
By the way, what's the occasion for this parade?
Oh, don't you read the papers, Patrick? June 1st is Martian Day.
How is the campaign going, Mr. Ryan?
Like wildfire, Mr. Luchar, like wildfire. Everybody and his brother is going along with the gag. Yesterday we distributed 50,000 Martian hats to school kids. I got some of the merchants doing World of Tomorrow displays in their windows. Every big novelty manufacturer in town is climbing on the bandwagon. They want to get into the parade with floats, giveaways, anything. Everybody smells a buck to be made. I wouldn't be surprised if the mayor himself declared Martian Day. I've even arranged for Commissioner Patrick to accept a $50,000 check for the Policeman's Benevolent Fund from the man from Mars. Oh, it's terrific, terrific. My blood pressure's up to 200.
Excellent.
I understand Century Pictures spent over $1 million making that space opera.
I beg pardon?
Oh, come, Mr. Luchar. Sid Ryan wasn't born yesterday, you know. I know who our client is, even if you don't admit it.
You do?
Always thinking that's me.
Well, as long as you know, let's keep it to ourselves, shall we, Mr. Ryan? As you once remarked, when these things leak out, it destroys the surprise and ruins the effectiveness of the campaign.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken Daly speaking to you from our portable transmitter atop the reviewing stand for the much-heralded Martian Parade on Fifth Avenue. It's a beautiful sunlit day here in New York, a perfect day for a parade, and the streets are packed with thousands of spectators all eager to find out what this is all about. There's an air of shrill expectancy. Some of the kids and their parents have been camped on the curbstone since early this morning to be sure of ringside seats when the so-called Martians pass by. I've just had word from Sol Brown up at Central Park Mall that the Martians have landed from big pink balloons. And now, while we're waiting for the arrival of the parade, we brought some people up to our microphone to tell you their reactions to this most spectacular of all publicity stunts. That's right, come on. What's your name, madam?
Miss Ada Shackley.
A little louder, please.
Miss Ada Shackley.
And where are you from, Mrs. Shackley?
Columbus, Ohio.
I see. And I see you have your family with you, too. Two little curly-headed blonde boys. Are you in New York on vacation?
We came for the Shriners Convention with their daddy.
What do you think of Martian Day, Mrs. Shackley?
Well, it all seems very strange to me, but the boys have been pestering me to watch it, so we've been standing here 2 hours. I can't make head or tail of it.
Well, neither can a lot of other people, Mrs. Shackley. But judging by the thousands here today, there's a lot of curiosity.
Curiosity kills a cat, folks say.
Well, let's hope not. Thank you, Mrs. Shackley.
Mr. Ryan.
Right. And this is Mr. Sid Ryan, ladies and gentlemen, the publicity man who's the brains behind the Martian Day stunt. Hello, Sid.
Good morning, Kenneth.
Easy, not so close to the mic.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, Sid, you've certainly lifted the lid this time.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
Sid, there's been a great deal of speculation as to exactly what all this is leading up to. I've heard some folks say it's a big war bond drive. Others think it's just to stimulate local business. And, look, I understand in the trade itself, the smart money says you're building for the premiere of Century's forthcoming extravaganza, Invasion from Mars. Now, come clean. Can you tell us what the real story is?
Ken. I'd like to, but honestly, I can't.
Oh, man of mystery, eh? Are you going to watch the parade from the stand here?
No, Ken, I can't stand noise. I'm going out to my office and watch it government.
Well, thank you, Sid Ryan, and good luck. And here they come, ladies and gentlemen. The first units of the big Martian parade, swinging down Fifth Avenue with fanfare, colored streamers, music, confetti, floats, all the trappings of a Mardi Gras. And here in the vanguard is a whole troop of little midgets in weird-looking pink and blue spacesuits, carrying Rube Goldberg weapons with signs painted on them. Let's see, I can read one which says, Atomic Blaster. Another one has a placard reading, We're Martian through Georgia. And here come the clowns, laughing and falling all over each other. They're giving free sugar candy to the kids along the way. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a happy, laughing crowd along Fifth Avenue today. A true reflection of the great sense of humor and good nature that makes America the place it is. This is promised as the climax of the show. And now a great hush has fallen over the crowd. It's quite a sight to see these thousands of people standing here expectantly, hearing only the great regular sigh of their mass breathing. And now here they come, ladies and gentlemen, the Martians, marching in booted, helmeted ranks, row after row of them. My, this is an impressive sight, ladies and gentlemen. And a rather serious contrast to the rest of the joyous slapstick parade we've witnessed. There are perhaps, 200 tall, broad-chested men dressed in metallic gray spacesuits with thick glass visors drawn across their faces. Each is holding an ominous-looking ray gun at the ready position. They're marching in absolute silence, keeping step perfectly, as though some mute, unspoken command were marking time for them. The crowd seems rather grim and serious now. Perhaps they're reminded of the actuality of war and possible invasion. They stand solemnly, silently, watching. Even the children are awed. And now the first ranks of the Martians are moving past us down Fifth Avenue toward the reviewing stands at the square. No one moves. What's that? What happened? A woman, ladies and gentlemen. She dashed out into the street. For what reason, I don't know. She attempted to lift the visor of one of the Martian spacesuits, but just as she reached the Martian, she fell forward in a dead faint. I tell you, I've never felt such mass tension in a crowd as we're experiencing here right now, today. All sorts of rumors have begun filtering back through the audience. There are excited whispers of, she's dead, she fainted. And now an undercurrent of, what? They're really Martians. This is an example of how a single incident can precipitate mass hysteria, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you, it's a mighty reassuring sight to see the blue uniforms of New York's finest spaced every 10 feet or so along the avenue. Somehow, I can't explain it, this incident has begun to work on what was a moment ago a happy, carefree crowd, and the complexion is changing.
Did you see that? A woman fainted.
Of course I saw it.
What do you suppose she saw?
Oliver, old man, did I ever tell you were too naive for this business?
But that young woman ran out into the streets to get a close look at the Martians, and then she screamed and fainted dead away.
I'm well aware of that, Oliver, since I paid her $50 to do it.
What?
The dramatic moment, Oliver, the stock and trade of the good publicity, man. Relax.
Holy smokes, you sure think of everything.
Yeah, for my share of this deal, roughly $100,000, I can afford to think of everything. Shut the window.
Don't you want to see the finish?
We'll go down to the reviewing stand for the finish. Right now, I want to make a phone call. By the way, where's Lucha?
I haven't seen him.
Oh, he'll be around.
Boy, those Martians sure look like the real thing.
How would you know the real thing if you saw it, Oliver?
Well, gee, I don't know.
Close the window, Oliver.
Oh, yes, Mr. Ryan.
Sorrel's Talent Agency.
Sammy, this is Sid Ryan.
Say, listen, Sid, I was going to call you. I'm awful sorry about those Martians.
What do you mean sorry? They're terrific.
No, don't joke, Sid. I mean it.
Well, I mean it, too. They're great, great.
Are you in the bag?
Never felt better.
You mean it, don't you?
Of course I mean it. What is this?
There are Martians in the parade?
About 150. Of course, I only ordered 50, but
Sid.
under the circumstances...
Sid.
Well, what is it?
Sid, don't you know? I couldn't get you a single movie extra. There's a studio strike in New York. I was going to call you, but I figured...
Wait a minute. Where'd these guys come from if you didn't hire them?
I don't know. Maybe Oliver...
Oh, hold on. Oliver?
Yes, Mr. Ryan?
Did you hire those Martians?
No, sir,
Sammy, this is on the level, isn't it?
Honest, Sid,
Okay, Sammy, I'll call you back.
What's the matter, Mr. Ryan?
I don't know. I just don't know. I've got to locate Lucha. What's Century Pictures number?
Mr. Ryan, this is Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Well, get me their publicity director, Marty Sanford, at home.
Oh, yes, sir. 3, 2, 4. Here you are.
Thanks.
Sanford.
Marty, this is Sid Ryan.
Oh, hello, Sid. How's the
Fine. Listen, Marty, this is dead serious, on the level. Get it?
What's wrong?
I've got to locate Lucha.
Lou who?
Lucha, come on now, Marty. This is life and death. The guy you sent over to hire me for the invasion picture.
Invasion picture?
Invasion from Mars, the space opera.
Are you batty?
Marty.
That picture was shelved last month.
What?
Sure, back in the can. Too expensive and too fantastic. The big shots decided you can't sell a Martian invasion to the American public. And I never heard of a guy named Lou...
Mother heaven.
What is it, Mr. Ryan? You look terrible.
It's too Fantastic.
What's too fantastic, Mr. Ryan? Is something wrong?
Open that window. I want another look at those Martians.
Yes, sir.
Look at them. Oliver, you were in the Army. Could 150 movie extras learn to march like that in, say, 24 hours?
Not in 24 days, Mr. Ryan.
Not a second's hesitation. Not one other step. Look at the way they carry those ray guns at ready. The only other time I've seen troops march like that was in a film of the Nazi stormtroops marching through the streets of Paris. See those chests on them? That's pride. Sheer, arrogant pride. Look at those chins. That's contempt. Nobody could act like that.
Mr. Ryan!
Oliver, get down there. Find that woman who fainted. Her name's Gloria Montex. Get her up here. Make it fast.
I can't get much sense out of her.
Stay away from me.
Gloria, it's me, Sid Ryan.
Oh, don't kid me. You're a Martian.
Gloria, settle down.
No, you're wearing a mask.
Baby, it's me, Sid.
And underneath, it's awful. It's all big green eyes and those feelings like a captain.
Baby, snap out of it. Listen, what happened down there? You ran out and screamed like I told you, but the fainting, that wasn't the act.
Oh, go away, please. Go away.
What'd you see?
Oh, no, please. It's too awful. Please, please.
Just one question, baby. Inside that helmet, what'd you see?
You won't get anything out of her, Mr. Ryan. She needs a doctor.
Okay, Oliver, I've heard enough anyway. You take care of Gloria here. Get her a drink.
Where are you going?
To see the commissioner. We got to stop this parade before things begin to happen.
Okay, Ryan, what's the beef?
Listen, Patrick, I don't know what it is, see, but something's wrong. You got to stop that parade.
I suppose you'd like the riot squad. That would get you a front-page spread on every paper in town. Honest, you publicity guys give me a pay.
This may be a matter of life and death.
Oh, sure. Look, Ryan, I've got no time for your cheap publicity gags. I'm a busy man.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you I don't know where these Martians came from, who they are, anything about them. All I want you to do is stop the parade and make sure they're on the level.
Ryan, I'm wise to your tricks. Now, if you let the sergeant show you out...
You won't do it, huh? An honest citizen appeals for protection and you refuse.
I most emphatically do. Now beat it.
All right, Patrick. I'll go right to the mayor's office. I'll have you busted flatter than a fried egg.
Go ahead. I'm sure His Honor will be glad to toss you out on that phony nickel-plated skull of yours.
You heard me, Ryan. You cannot see the mayor.
Adolf, please. This isn't a gag. I don't want publicity. All I want to do is maybe prevent something horrible from happening.
In case you don't know it, wise guy, something horrible is already happening. A couple hundred little kids are in the hospital with ptomaine poisoning from that phony Martian candy you passed out. Or didn't you know?
I didn't. We've got to stop that parade.
Sure, you'd like nothing better than to start a panic now. Maybe a few hundred people would get trampled to death. Think of the newspaper space that would get you and your product.
I won't stand for this, Adolf.
You won't have to, because you're going to get out of here right now. Go on, beat it. Get out. You and your publicity stunts make me sick to my stomach.
Oliver, where are you? Oliver!
It is useless to scream at him, Mr. Ryan. Your friend is quite dead.
Lucha.
He wanted to run to the police with some story about a Martian invasion. I found it necessary to restrain him.
Restrain him, you stinking murderer.
Now, Mr. Ryan, collect yourself. After all our planning, it wouldn't do to have everything spoiled, now would it?
Lucha, start talking and talk fast, because when you get through, I'm going to take you apart piece by piece. What's this all about?
But surely you know, Mr. Ryan. After all, you've been publicizing it for months.
Listen, you...
Please, do not interrupt. You see, before colonizing your planet, we Martians sent advanced scouts to study your habits, your weaknesses. We found that the people on Earth are predominantly conditioned by advertising and publicity, and so... we conceived the idea of treating our entire invasion as a vast publicity stunt. Clever, huh? After all, Mr. Ryan, who would suspect an invader who advertised his invasion in the newspaper, invited the public to his surprise attack, and spent millions publicizing his plans?
Holy jumping catfish.
You've done very well.
Then there was no product.
Ah, but there is a product. The product is death.
What are you trying to do, Lucha?
We Martians are a humane people, Mr. Ryan. We do not like to destroy thousands where a few hundreds would suffice. In exactly 2 minutes, our troops will treat the world to a spectacle of death, which will bring the rest of your planet to its knees in horror. Nations will clamor to surrender.
Perhaps, Mr. Lucha. But not if I can help it. You... Good.
Yes, please.
Operator, this is Mr. Ryan. Get me the field telephone on the reviewing stand of the Martian Day Parade. Hurry.
Anyone in particular?
Just hurry.
Reviewing stand, Sergeant Cassidy.
Get me Commissioner Patrick.
Hello.
Hello.
You'll have to talk loud.
I want Commissioner Patrick.
Oh.
Patrick!
Wait a minute. Things are quieting down. Now, what was it you wanted?
This is Ryan. I have to talk to the Commissioner. It's a matter of life and death.
I'm sorry, you can't talk to him now. The Chief Martian is presenting the PBA check to him. The Martians are going to fire a salute.
Listen, you got to stop him.
What?
Stop him!
I'm sorry, Mr. Ryan.
You idiot! The worst is going.
This is the operator. I'm sorry, Mr. Ryan. You've been cut off. I can't seem to get them back.
Doesn't matter, operator. Nothing matters now.
Tonight, X-1 has brought you The Parade, an original story written by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Joseph Curtin as Ryan, Joe DeSantis as Luchar, Alexander Scorby as Daly, Agnes Young as the woman, Ellen Denning as Gloria, John Thomas as Oliver, Arthur Anderson as Sammy, Wendell Holmes as the Commissioner, and William Keene as Sanford. Your announcer, Don Pardo. X-1 was directed by Fred Way and is a transcribed NBC Radio Network production. Next week, the tables turn. Instead of Martians invading Earth, we bring you a tale of men invading Mars. Ray Bradbury's brilliant short story entitled Mars is Heaven. Suppose you were a member of the first rocket ship crew to land on Mars, but instead of seeing Martians, you find that you've landed in a town that looks just like home, that all your dead relatives and friends are there to greet you, so that as incredible as it may seem, you think you're really in heaven. That is, you think so, right up to the fatal moment. The moment of X-1.
Join the Abbotts on another baffling mystery tonight over most NBC radio stations.
After her baby daughter was lost in a shipwreck 14 years ago, Mrs. Patricia Gregory started searching the world over in the hope that her little girl might still be alive. Now Mrs. Gregory is again in the South Seas, and with her on her private yacht are Captain Tex Bradford and Jerry Hall. Jerry was a young radio operator in Los Angeles who received the first mysterious message about an old sailor having seen the Magic Island and a little white girl on it. The yacht is lying now completely becalmed near a strange bank of fog.
I tell you, you've got to believe me. You've got to believe me.
Don't get so excited, Jerry. We can hear you without your shouting like that.
Yes, take it easy, kid.
Oh, I'm sorry. But this is something to get excited about. You know that fog bank over there is not fog, don't you, Captain Bradford?
Well, it doesn't act like any fog I ever saw, Jerry, but what else could it be?
But, Mrs. Gregory, you still think it's fog, don't you?
What else can I think?
Well, you can think about the story that the old sailor told and the Magic Island. That fog, well, or whatever it is out there, is just where the old man said we'd find the island, isn't it?
Right to the inch, boy.
And this yacht was up against it, in it. But we didn't get wet or cold from it. Fog is wet, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
And Captain Bradford's fog machine has always made a hole through every other fog he tried it on, hasn't it, Tex?
I've never found another fog that machine wouldn't penetrate to a point of fair visibility.
Then that stuff over there is not fog. It isn't wet, and your machine didn't even start to go through it. It looks just like a wall made of gray stone or cement.
Tex, You're not really convinced about this, are you?
I've lived a long time without seeing anything that looked like magic, as Jerry likes to call it, but I've never seen anything like this.
Well, I don't know whether it's magic or not, but it's sure funny. And there's another mighty funny thing about this whole business.
What else?
This ocean is too smooth right around the edge of that fog. Look farther away on the sides and behind us. The water is rough enough, but here, right here near that fog bank, the water is as smooth as glass. The boat isn't even rolling.
I noticed that, Jerry, and I don't like it.
Then there is something mysterious about this place. And if the island... Oh, if the island could only be here, and my little Joan alive and well on it...
Well, I don't know about the island, but I do know we ought to find out more about that fog stuff. Why not try sailing around it? Maybe we can see something from the other side.
Well, we did. What's the use? You couldn't see anything?
Tex, you've seen something you're keeping from Jerry and me. You do know something about that fog bank.
Do you, Captain Bradford? Do you?
Well, I didn't want to tell you. It doesn't help matters a bit. There's no use of all of us worrying about the impossible. But I do know a little more about that fog bank than you two.
Don't treat me as if I were a child. What is it, Tex?
Oh, we're stuck so bad now that a little more won't scare me any worse. What did you find out, Captain?
Well, you and Mrs. Gregory remember that you spent a long time working over that chart while I was on deck?
Yes.
I mean, before I called you to come and look at the fog?
Why, we were talking about Joan and the Magic Island and all. I guess we did talk a long time.
What were you doing, Tex?
Well, I was on the bridge, and the skipper will tell you this is the truth.
Yes?
Go on. Go on.
Well, we have sailed around that fog bank.
We've sailed around it?
Gee. Well, what was on the other side?
A fog bank.
Oh. Then it is just fog.
Wait, Mrs. Gregory. Go on, Captain. There's more, isn't there?
There's a whole lot more. From the circumference of the circle we described in rounding this thing, it must be about half a mile around it. Possibly a little more. And it's perfectly round.
That doesn't tell us much.
I want to hear it all, Tex.
No, I don't want to get you all worked up over it. May not mean a thing. But our instruments read exactly the same on all four sides of that fog.
What?
You mean they didn't change at all as you went around?
That's it. And from our solar readings and my radio beam check, that reading is correct. Correct to a fraction of a second, but...
But what?
Hurry. Hurry and tell us, or I'm going to pass out.
The readings we took all around this thing belong in the center of it. Everything reads to a perfect center when you're sailing around the edge of that fog.
Then a regular vessel, I mean one that just sailing through here on a regular run, would skirt around that fog without knowing they'd run off their course.
I guess they would. We found nothing to indicate our course had been changed. And if we weren't looking for trouble, we would have figured the same as any other navigator. That we were just passing a small fog bank and not being compelled to follow a distorted curve around it.
Then that means just one thing. There is something behind or in that fog. Something. And that something is...
I'll bet it's the Magic Island. Oh, golly whiskers. We're here. We found it. Gee, Mrs. Gregory. Now we'll get your little girl back.
Not so fast, son. Even if there is an island there, what can we do about it? The yacht won't go through the fog. We tried that.
Then let's figure why it won't go through it.
That's out of the question, isn't it?
Nothing is out of the question with Tex and I to figure things out.
Well, just leave me out of that, Jerry. You figure this yourself. I'm stuck.
Well, if we can't sail through it, there's something funny about it. And something funny about a fog means it's being done on purpose.
Jerry, you mean it isn't just a natural phenomenon? That the fog is man-made, controlled?
How about those instruments, Captain? And the fog holding the boat just like a magnet. That's it. Magnet. Oh, giggling goldfish. Why didn't I think of that before? That fog is magnetized.
That's my idea, boy, but I hated to make such a wild statement.
Well, that sounds possible. There are a great many magnetic deposits and formations in many parts of the world.
But don't you see, Mrs. Gregory? We don't mean a magnetic field that just happened there. That fog has been magnetized by somebody or something.
Do you think that's possible? You're not just excited and running away with yourself, Jerry.
Well, if he is, I'm running way ahead of him. Patricia, That fog bank is not ordinary fog. It's magnetized as surely as we're standing on this yacht looking at it. And there's probably an island hidden in it.
Well, but Tex...
And that's not guesswork. It's a scientific probability.
What else would have held our boat against that fog but a powerful magnetic force of some kind? And what else but a magnet? And a magnet with somebody running it would have turned the boat loose when it got ready.
Why, it's thrilling. But it's terrible, too. What can it mean?
It can mean we're up against the greatest piece of electrical or chemical wizardry this generation has seen. And we're going to see all of it.
Where do we start, Tex?
Start guessing, and as if you've done pretty well so far, Jerry. Suppose you take the first guess.
Well, isn't it better to do something you're sure of than it is to guess?
What can anyone be sure of in these weird circumstances?
Got something definite in mind, son?
Well, we can see what's inside that fog ring. If the little plane lashed to the deck, we'll fly over it.
Of course. Why didn't you think of that, Tex?
I did, but it'll take an hour to assemble the wing spread, lower to the water, and get ready for a takeoff. By that time, it'll be pretty dark. I don't like to try getting the plane back on board at night, except in an emergency.
Golly whiskers. Here you've got a magnetized bank of artificial fog right under your nose, and a magic island, and a... Well, how much do you need to make it an emergency?
Well, I meant a matter of life and death. That island, if it is inside the fog, has been there a lot of years, and it won't run away tonight.
Then we can't do anything until morning?
Oh, I guess not. Say, I've got it. I'll swim ashore. That's it.
You'll do everything else, boy.
You can't do that, Jerry.
I'll bet I can. And I bet I'll get through that fog, too. I won't wear anything that a magnet will hang on to.
And after you get through the fog, what then?
What do you mean? What then?
Mrs. Gregory and I are outside with the yacht. And if anything should happen to you, we couldn't get in there.
Why not try shooting through the fog?
No, you might hit... Of course, I mean, if this really is the island we're looking for, Joan might be hurt.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Well, I guess we'll have to wait till morning.
I've got one small idea. Let's see. Skipper!
Aye.
Will you step up forward here, please?
Aye.
Now, Jerry, I want you to go into our cabin. Get that long black case, the one that looks like a violin case, out of the instrument locker. Bring it here and handle it as if it were eggs.
Right away, sir. I'll get it.
Sir. Skipper, the swell is rolling heavier now. We can't use the motors to hold our position, as I need all the power in this cable here. Will you try for a good anchorage so I can cut all the juice away from the engine room?
Sounded.
Well?
3
fathoms?
Aye.
Can I help, Tex? I'm so nervous, but for once I seem to be helpless. I'm sorry. I've always been able to think with you before, but no,
I understand, darling.
Tex.
I didn't say anything.
I know you didn't, but I'm glad you said it.
Oh, I suppose I shouldn't have.
You shouldn't, and I've been waiting years to hear it.
Patricia,
Here's the case, Captain Bratt. Oh, golly whiskers. I guess you forgot the case, didn't you? I'll go back and bring it in again if you want me to.
No, Jerry, you just rescued me in time.
You don't yell for help very loud, do you?
Now, Jerry, come on. Let's hook up the machine. Break that cable. Bring the shielded lead plug over here while I open the case.
Are we going to anchor here for the night? The skipper's paying out the stern chain.
Yes. Tex thinks we'd better not move till morning, and the skipper reports sounding's okay for a good anchorage.
Can I help with the machine?
Not yet, Jerry. I'm a little afraid to have anyone but myself handle it until it's set up.
It's sure a funny-looking thingamabob. What is it?
I never saw this before either, Tex. Is that what you've been working on so secretly in the laboratory?
I've done nothing else for over a year, and it's perfect.
What is it?
Well, I haven't named it officially yet, but I think I'll call it my Straighoscope.
Straighoscope?
Well, what does that mean?
Well, it's a combination of straighta and scope, as from stratosphere and periscope. In other words, it will do through the air, and at tremendous altitudes and distances, what the periscope will do within a very limited range.
I think it sounds lovely, Tex, but what will it do?
Left you behind that time, eh, Pat? How about you, son?
I think I know what you mean. You can look away up in the air, then away over someplace, then down again, like seeing over the horizon. Isn't that it?
That's it exactly, Jerry, and I know it works. I've tried it over a 300-foot building. When I was on the ground on one side, the objective was on the ground on the other side, and I saw it.
And now you're going to look over that fog and down onto the island.
Oh, can we? Really?
I'm getting excited now. You see, it's a case of plotting the trajectory of the wave curve I'm sending out, figuring the density of the exact strata And the atmosphere I must refract the wave from to bring it down to Earth on the desired spot.
But how do you see anything with a wave?
These waves will return to me with almost as great an intensity as they leave the instrument with. Then I merely catch them in a tuned wave trap. And with a light valve and converter, I project the image on this little ground glass screen here and... Pat, Jerry, I've got it. I can see it.
Is it the island?
Is it Tex? What do you see?
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, with Jim Olsen and Perry White marked for death by the clan of the Fiery Cross, their one chance for rescue rests with Superman and his plan to learn the identity of the hooded mobster.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. You know, you fellas and girls have a lot of your own words for good. You say something is keen or solid or terrific. Well, gang, those words come in mighty handy when you're talking about Kellogg's Pep. For instance, lots of kids say Pep's sparkling sunshine flavor is keen. Yes, Pep is called the Sunshine Cereal, as cheerful and sunny a dish as you'd ever hope to see. And crisp? Why, those tender whole wheat flakes practically melt in your mouth. Yes, sir, Kellogg's Pep is a mighty keen treat. Now, what was another one of those words? Oh, yeah, solid. Why, Kellogg's Pep gives you solid whole wheat nourishment plus. It's a solid start for a hearty breakfast that helps start your day off right. And let's see now. Pep is keen, it's solid, and terrific. You just try Kellogg's Pep for breakfast tomorrow morning and see if you don't think it's so terrific you want to eat up every bit in your bowl. That's always the smart thing to do, you know, and particularly smart nowadays when we're sending the cereal grains to fellows and girls overseas. When Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's, see that it's not wasted. Pour it out carefully and finish off every bit you pour out. Get the right habit, gang. Eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Captured by a band of hooded terrorists known as the Clan of the Fiery Cross, Editor Perry White and Jim Olsen were taken into the hills above Metropolis, where they were to be tarred and feathered in reprisal for the Daily Planet's attacks on the Clan. But when, in an ensuing scuffle, White tore the hood from the Grand Scorpion, their situation became even more serious. Enraged and frightened by the exposure of his identity as Matt Riggs, a well-known trucking contractor, the Klan leader announced that White and Olsen must die. Today, while Superman continues his desperate attempt to find them, Jim and Perry White remain bound to trees as, several yards away, Matt Riggs is huddled with his robed and hooded action committee, arguing violently in an effort to convince them that their prisoners must not be allowed to remain alive. Listen.
I tell you, brothers, these men are dangerous to our cause. Now that they know who I am, they can trace the rest of you through my association with you. Don't you see that?
Yeah, sure, Matt, but killing an important guy like the editor of the Daily Planet, that's too risky. Right.
Now, wait a minute. Do you want to see the Clan of the Fiery Cross busted up?
No.
Do you want to break our sacred vows to save America from all the foreign trash that clutters up our neighborhoods?
No, of course not, Matt, but...
But nothing. If we let White and Olsen get back alive, we're through. Understand? Finished. Because White has already said about us in our paper is nothing compared to what he'll say now. What's more, he knows who I am, and the police will find out who you are. With all the pressure that he and others like him will put on the police, they'll have to go after us. And no time to break us up.
Maybe they'll shut up and...
No! I'm telling you, if we let them go, we're a cinch for a jail sentence, every mother's son of us. Then when we get out, we'll find the foreigners running our country and the 100% Americans, our own kind, taking orders from them. No better off than slaves. You want to see that happen?
No, certainly not.
I tell you, this is a case of self-preservation, brothers. It's our lives or theirs. Either White or Olsen die, or the Clan of the Fiery Cross dies. Now take your choice.
With eyes blazing with a mad, murderous light, Matt Riggs, cunning leader of the robed and hooded bigots, seeks to so inflame the fanatical Klansmen with vicious lies that in a passion of hate, they will commit murder. situation looks grave indeed for Perry White and Jim Olsen as, meanwhile, Superman in his guise of Clark Kent continues his desperate attempts to trace the identities of the Klansmen in an effort to find his friends. Kent's open letter to the boy who called to tell him of the Klan's attack on Tommy Lee having brought no results, he discusses another idea with Beanie Martin, Daily Planet copy boy.
My hunch, Beanie, is that the boy I want, the one who I think must know at least one member of the Fiery Cross gang, is a player on the Unity House baseball team.
Gee whiz, Mr. Kent, how do you figure that?
Because all this trouble started right after Jim Olsen put that Chinese boy, Tommy Lee, on the team.
It did?
Mm-hmm. There was a fight, I recall, and then an attempt was made to scare Tommy into quitting by burning a cross on his lawn.
Yeah, I remember that. But jeepers, how could one of the kids get the Klan mixed up in that fight?
Oh, easy. As you know, those fanatical hooded bigots are against anyone who goes to a different church or whose skin is a different color. Well, all the boy had to do was mention the Unity House incident to a Klansman, maybe his father, his brother, or his uncle, and the Klan went into action.
Gee whillikins.
And then when I persuaded Tommy to stay and pitch an important game...
They grabbed Tommy and were going to tar and feather him.
That's right, Beanie. Yes, and they'd have gotten away with it, too, if I hadn't been tipped off by that telephone call from some unidentified boy.
And that's the kid you wrote the letter to, huh?
Yes, yeah. Yes, I thought his sense of fairness and honor would make him come to me, but it didn't work. Now, if my hunch that he's a member of the Unity House team is correct, I think I know how I can find him.
Gee whiz, how, Mr. Kent?
Well, since the only thing I know about the boy is the sound of his voice, I want to talk with the Unity House ball players.
Oh, I get it. Hey, that sure is a swell idea. And you can do that right away because I happen to know that the team's practicing today.
Oh, good. Say, by the way, who's running them in Jim's absence?
Muggs, I think.
Oh, Muggs, eh? Well, I'm sure he'll work with me. All right, I'm going over to the ballpark right now.
Jeepers, Mr. Kent, can I go with you, please, can I?
Well, all right, Beanie. Yes, come along. You may be able to help, too.
Oh, boy, swell. Let's go. Muggs isn't around, Mr. Kent. They expect him to show up in a little while, though.
Oh, gee, well, we can't wait, Beanie. I'm afraid there's no time to lose, and we've got to work fast if I'm to find Mr. White and Jim.
Yeah, if the Fiery Cross Klan's got him, there's no telling what'll happen.
I'm afraid for the worst.
What'll we do?
Well, you'll have to work with me. Now, look, here's what I want you to do, Beanie.
Yeah?
Tell the boys, well, let's see. Tell them you're on an assignment from the Daily Planet to interview each of them about what they think of their chances for winning the championship.
Uh-huh.
Got that?
Yeah. You want me to make like a sports reporter, huh?
Right, Beanie, right.
Oh, boy.
Now, look, you get them to come into the locker room one at a time.
Yeah?
I'll be listening behind a locker while you ask them a few questions.
Uh-huh.
Now, if the boy isn't the one that I'm looking for, I'll tap on the metal with a key so you can get rid of him fast and get another one in. Now, do you understand that?
Sure, I get it. And when the right kid comes in...
I'll let you know, don't you worry. All right, now get going, Beanie, in a hurry. This is our only chance to find a clue to the Chief and Jim, and it's got to work.
What do you think of your chances to win the championship, Freddie?
Well, they don't look so good without Jim Olsen and Tommy Lee. Why, the fellas all think... Hey, what's that?
Oh, I don't know. Mice, maybe. Well, thanks, Freddie. Send in another guy on your way out, will you? Still think you got a chance to win, Tony?
Yeah, with a miracle, maybe. But it don't look too good, I'll tell you that much.
Uh-huh. Well, thanks, Tony. Send the next guy in, will you? Would you mind repeating that, Sam?
I said I don't think we got a chance.
Yeah, I get you. Thanks, Sam. Next guy, please. Well, just give me an idea what you think.
I don't even want to think about it.
Okay, Johnny. Will you send in the next guy? Thanks, Bobby. Next man. Okay, Joe. Next man. Oh, that's all, Bill. Next man.
One by one, the Unity House baseball players file into the locker room, speak briefly to Beanie Martin, and are sent away when Beanie hears the tapping of Clark Kent's key. Finally, the last boy has come and gone. Then, worried by the failure of his plan, Kent walks slowly out to the ball field, followed by Beanie.
Bad, Beanie. Very bad.
Yeah. Looks as if we drew a blank.
You certainly did. But I can't understand it. I was so sure I was on the right track this time.
Japers, how are we going to find Mr. White and Jim now?
I don't know. Oh, if only Muggs were here. Maybe he'd be able to give me a
Hey,
clue.
there's Muggs coming onto the field now.
Oh, good.
Hey, Muggs! Hey, Muggs, hey!
Call him over here, Beanie.
Come here a minute, will you?
Hi, Mr. Kent. Hello, Muggs. Say, did you hear anything yet about Jim?
No, not a thing, Muggs, not a thing. But maybe you can help me out.
Sure. What can I do?
Just listen for a minute. You see, I got a hunch that the boy who warned me about what was going to happen to Tommy Lee is a member of this ball team.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not, Muggs. Now, I don't know his name or even what he looks like. All I know is the sound of his voice. Now, just listen to all the boys who are out there practicing, and none of them fits the bill. Now, can you give me any idea as to...
Hey, wait a minute. You still didn't talk to all the players, Mr. Kent.
What? Sure we did, all but you and Tommy Lee.
Yeah, I know, but there's still one guy who don't play with us anymore. But he was on the team the day we had all the fuss. The same day a cross was burned on Tommy's lawn.
Who's that, Muggs?
Come with me. I'll show you.
With hope reborn, Clark Kent and Beanie Martin eagerly follow Muggs, who leads the way across the ball field. Is this the end of Kent's search? We'll know in a moment, so stand by for the tense climax of today's episode.
Say, gang, have I got an earful for you today. Get ready to hear about a brand new pep dish of the week. And this one is a real humdinger. You all set? It's a blueberry whirligig. Combines Kellogg's Pep and sweet ripe blueberries in a nifty new breakfast dish. Now, here's how it goes. You start off with your serving of Pep, the Sunshine cereal, topped with a sprinkling of fresh blueberries. Then, very carefully now, take your spoon and give it a whirl, mixing the berries all through those crisp flakes of Pep. Just add milk and sugar, and believe me, gang, that blueberry whirligig will give your appetite a whirl come breakfast time. Of course, it's Kellogg's Pep that does the trick. Are those toasted whole wheat flakes tender and golden and full up with sparkling sunshine flavor? No matter how you serve Pep, it's so terrifically good, you want to keep right on until you've eaten up every last bit in your bowl. That's one way to avoid waste, you know. And another way is to handle the package carefully if you pour your own Pep. Now, you wouldn't want to waste cereal, particularly nowadays when we're sending the grains to fellows and girls overseas. Remember that when Mom brings Kellogg's Pep home from the grocer's. Eat all your Pep. Don't waste it.
As we continue now, Muggs has led Clark Kent and Beanie Martin across the Unity House ball field to the sidelines at third base, where, his shoulders hunched, the dejected-looking boy stands and watches the team practice.
There's a guy I mean, Mr. Kent. He was on the team until a couple of days ago when Jim Olsen fired him for being a sorehead. He was, eh?
Hey, that's...
Quiet, Beanie. I'd like to meet him, Muggs.
Sure. Hey, Chuck, come here.
What do you want, Muggs?
I want you to meet somebody. Mr. Kent, this is Chuck Riggs.
Hello, Chuck. Mr. Kent. Gee whiz, I gotta go...
Wait a minute, Chuck. You're just the fellow I've been looking for.
Startled and frightened, Chuck Riggs stares at Clark Kent, who places a firmly restraining hand on the boy's shoulder. Can Kent persuade Chuck, who is in mortal fear of the Klan's vengeance, to reveal what Superman must know in order to save Perry White and Jim Olsen? Every second is precious now as the murderous Matt Riggs exhorts his hooded company of fanatical bigots to carry out his death sentence against the gray-haired editor and the young reporter. What will happen? Tomorrow's action-packed episode tells the story, gang, so don't miss a second of it. Tune in tomorrow, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is the copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine cereal. You know, it wouldn't surprise me, fellers, if your dog sometimes wishes he were you. Then he could tell Mother what he likes to eat. And it wouldn't surprise me if he'd ask for Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food quick. It beats all how many dogs beg for it. Grow Pup has such a swell, meaty flavor. And there are 3 different kinds. There's Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. They're all mighty tasty and mighty good for your dog. Help give him lots of muscle, strong bones, and teeth. Remind Mother, next time she's marketing, to ask for Kellogg's Grow Pup. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are standing at the entrance of a walled Arab town, while behind you, coming slowly through the night, are the shuffling footsteps of a blind beggar who will lead you into a harrowing world of darkness and terror.
Listen now as Escape brings you Kathleen Height's terrifying story, The Return.
The freighter Menlo crept slowly through the breakwater of the outer harbor. Most of the 12 passengers were on deck, looking north beyond the converging jetties to the modern city of Bizerta. The two of us, a man named Tuckett and myself, Bizerta was a destination. I didn't know what brought Tuckett here. I didn't really know what brought me here. I only knew that I'd looked for something all over the world without success. I'd looked everywhere except Bizerta. Ashore, I checked into the small hotel, and a short time later, I was part of the early evening crowd on the streets. Yeah, there you go.
Mashallah, Effendi.
Sure. Can you tell me how to get to the Arab town? Oh. Sorry, I didn't notice about your eyes.
One does not need eyes to perceive truth, Effendi.
No, I suppose not. What's your name?
Nigga. The Arab town is due north of here. And the truth is everywhere for all to see, if they will but see.
I hope you're right. Well, bye, nigga.
Saida, Effendi.
It is Mr. Reeser, isn't it?
Oh, Tuckett.
I lost track of you when we came ashore. Thought I'd find you again at the hotel, but they tell me you're not registered.
Where are you staying?
Hotel North Africa. How about joining me there for dinner, if you don't have any plans?
I don't think I have any plans. But if I do, they can catch up with me there, don't you think?
Yes, I guess they can.
My words hadn't meant much more to me than they did to Tuckett. I tried to explain during dinner. Maybe it was the wine that was talking, maybe me. Either way, Tuckett seemed interested enough to ask a question.
Have you any idea what you're looking for, Reeser?
I'm looking for a place where there's no struggle.
No struggle for you?
For anyone. I'm 40 years old, Tuckett. And for a little over half my lifetime, I've traveled the world. Worked my way, worked the sea and the earth. I tell you, there's only one thing that's universal, and that's the struggle.
I suppose that's right. But it seems to me we're making a lot of progress in some directions. Now, medicine, for example.
Medicine's a good example. They licked pneumonia, they found cancer waiting for them. They inoculate for smallpox, and they find bubonic plague. For every achievement, there's a new struggle waiting. And I wonder if that's progress, Tuckett.
Well, I don't know. I never thought of it this way.
Well, take food, clothing, and shelter, the basic needs. Some parts of the world, people don't have them. But even when they do, there are bigger struggles to take their place. Fears, insecurities. Maybe you beat these things one at a time. But you've never got it made. While you're fighting against one struggle, another one's being fed and made strong. And it never ends until you die struggling to live.
Yeah. It's funny in a way. You come to Bizerta hoping you'll find a place where there's no struggle. And I've come here, well, to get into the struggle, I guess. I'm opening an import-export business, small and I'm sure full of struggle, but I'm not cynical about it or disillusioned yet.
No, I don't feel cynical, Tuckett. I'm just short on hope because I don't see any end in sight.
Reeser, what would you change if it were up to you?
The struggle. Show me a place where there's no struggle. That's where I want to be.
I wonder what it would be like. If you find it, let me know, will you?
If I can, I will. I promised I'd get in touch with Tuckett in a few days, but as I went back to the streets of Bizerta, walking through the fine rain that was falling now, I wondered if I'd ever see him again. My course took me north, along the canal, through the modern city, past the ancient citadel, to the entrance of the walled Arab town. I passed no one, and yet I knew I was not alone. Someone was following behind me. Soon I heard his footsteps at my side.
We are almost there, Effendi.
Nega, you're walking without your cane to lead you.
I am come to lead you, Effendi.
Where?
Through the wall ahead. Your words have been heard, Effendi. You are ready?
Ready for what?
You have said, show me the place where there is no struggle.
How do you know what I've said?
You have asked enough questions of life, Effendi. Come. We go through the wall.
Oh, you're out of your mind.
Look about you, Effendi. On all sides there are walls. You have come too far to go back.
What are you talking about? I can't go back.
You have said the words, show me the place. Through the wall ahead is the perfect place. I will lead you.
Oh, this is crazy. You're crazy. You're blind. You can't lead me anywhere. Let go of me.
You yourself have said that struggle is useless.
I said let go of me, you filthy... I had swung at Nega with all the force in me, only to find myself flattened against the wall. Did I slip on the wet pavement or trip? I don't know. That was no imaginary wall I had hit. I felt the hard pain of it, and the rain beating against my face. And then it was over. The room in which I awakened was large. Large and empty, with great windows at the far end, bright sunlight streaming through them. It was no room I'd ever seen before. My clothes were no longer damp, and there was no pain in me. I moved toward the sunlight.
You were a long time coming, Risa.
I don't see you.
Come out of the shadows toward the light. You will find me. Now you can see me, can you not?
Yes, now I see you. You seem to know me. I've never seen you before.
I am called Zine. You are most welcome, Risa. Yours has been a tortuous trip, I know.
I don't understand. That beggar, the old fool, he said he was leading me to the perfect place.
The important thing is that you are here, Risa. Come. Look through the windows.
Oh. Oh, this is beautiful. Mountains, valley, lakes, fields. Never seen anything like it. It
is perfect. You are in the perfect place because you want to be here. You look the world over. You witness the struggle. You wanted to be free of it.
Am I dead?
Do you feel dead?
No, I don't. I feel confused. There's so much I don't understand. I have questions.
You will begin to see the answers for yourself once the processing has begun.
Processing?
There are things you must give up for perfection, Risa. In the processing, these things will leave you. One of them is written in your expression now, doubt. You cannot doubt perfection, and have it too. And after that, you must give up fear and greed. Will you miss them, Risa?
No, of course not.
There are other things, of course. Whenever you have questions, you will find me nearby to answer them. Do you have any more questions now?
No.
Then you are ready. Go on, my son. Go out and live in the perfect place. You hesitate. Why?
I don't know. Surely there's nothing to fear from perfection.
You would not think so, would you, my son?
I went out the door, down the path, into the perfect place. The hesitation, the fear grew less with each step. I turned a short distance away to wave back at Zine, but the door I had walked through was gone, and the building and the window, and there was no sign of Zine. But somehow it seemed unimportant. I turned back to the path and walked ahead.
Hello, my love.
Hello.
I am Angela.
Angela.
You are Risa, and my love. I knew you would be here when I wanted you most.
You were expecting me? You know I would be here.
I wanted you.
Oh.
Take my hand. We will walk together, won't we?
I think we will, Angela.
Oh, my love. Ours will be a lovely time together. Perfectly lovely.
You are listening to The Return, tonight's presentation on Escape. Next Sunday evening, Lionel Barrymore will again be here on most of these same stations as your host on the Radio Hall of Fame. Remember to hear Lionel Barrymore next Sunday on CBS Radio. And now, Escape and the second act of The Return.
Angela was all of beauty, all of woman. She was grace and strength and delicacy. And she was always at my side as we walked the broad valleys of the perfect place. She was my love. And it was a perfect love. The land was all beauty. The people were all smiles. Every need was satisfied. There was love in abundance. Peace and perfection was at every hand. And there was no struggle. No struggle about anything. After a time when I felt the need of a friend appeared. He was Lar, Angela's brother. Lar loved the sea, and he had a fine schooner for fishing.
Angela tells me you enjoy fishing, Reeser. Name your fish, and I promise you boatloads of it.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I have no preference. Any fighting game fish is fine sport.
The day is perfect. The wind is perfect. Everything we need is aboard.
It's all
Very easy, isn't it? It is as it should be. For fishing, we need wind and sail and sea and fish. So we have them.
Hard to believe.
It's there to see and believe.
The wind is failing.
Then this must be the spot. The best waters.
Best?
We would not have stopped here if they were not the best.
Nice arrangement. Well, where's the gear?
The lines are out. They are just right. Go, see for yourself.
Strike your starboard line.
Pull him in, Reeser. He's all yours.
Oh, it's albacore. That's a giant. But he stopped fighting. There's no fight in him.
Pull him in, Reeser. He's a perfect albacore. Perfect.
I never saw a fish give in so quickly. Practically jumped onto the deck. And it kept on that way. All day, every fish that found our lines fairly flopped into the schooner of its own volition. Laura had promised me a boatload of fish, and we had them when Angela met us in port at evening. There had been no struggle. No effort, even, in lifting the great fish off the lines. It was phenomenal. And rather frightening. Some days later, Angela suggested a deer hunt. With Laura, we walked through the beautiful countryside, through fields, toward the wooded hills.
Look ahead, my love. Set your sights.
Oh, yes.
The first shot is yours, Reeser.
All right.
You see, love? Directly ahead. Perfect deer.
Yes, I see. Perfect deer. 30 or 40 of them all lined up as targets. Couldn't miss one if I tried.
Fire, Reeser.
No, I can't.
You wanted deer. Well, there they are.
Angela, listen to me. Don't you see? We haven't hunted for deer. Now, part of the thrill of hunting is the hunt itself, and then the finding of your game and matching your wits against his. If you win, then you've won something.
But you said you wanted deer.
And when we fished, you said you wanted fish.
Look, if I had said I wanted to hunt bear instead of deer, then all the bear I could shoot would be in the sights of my gun? Or if I'd said quail or duck, the sky overhead had been black with them. Is that true?
Yes. Yes, my love. That is all true.
Yes. Yes, perfect. Like all things.
No, but that isn't perfect. Can't I make you see that? Oh. Look, Angela, you and La, would you just go on a little, would you? I want to be alone a while.
Of course, darling. That's perfectly all right with me.
Perfectly.
Perfectly. I turned then and I walked in no direction toward no place. Inside, I was all fury and confusion. And something more. Didn't know why, but I was reacting to the constant smiles of Angela and Laura with something like terror. And then I stopped and lay on a spot of cool green grass to rest and think. And not think.
What are your questions, Risa?
Zane?
I said I'd be nearby to answer when you needed me.
It's hard to question. I just find perfection difficult to understand.
Do you doubt it, the perfection?
No. I've seen and known many perfect things here.
You wanted assurance there was no struggle here in the perfect place. You have seen no struggle, have you, Reese?
No, none. But now you must see everything. The fish, the deer, they have no fight in them. There's no sport, there's no challenge.
You wanted no struggle. You cannot have both struggle and no struggle. You once berated existence as a thing men struggled through and died struggling to live.
Oh, I know.
Your processing will go on, Risa. Step by step, it will go on. There will be no struggle. And you will realize that you cannot improve on perfection.
And when I turned to answer him, he was gone again, as I knew he would be.
He was gone, but the terror was still with me. There was goodness and kindness. There was plenty. Why did I fear it? What was its terror? My thoughts went to Angela, and soon we were together again as if nothing other than perfection had passed between us. She took me into a village I had not seen. The life there was simple, but perfect.
Is it not beautiful here, my love? Is not everything and everyone beautiful?
Angela, what do all the people of the village do?
Do?
How do they live? Do they work? Are there jobs to do?
Everyone does what he wants.
No. Who tills the fields and plants them? Who builds the homes?
So many questions always, my love. And questions about the simplest of things. The fields. One goes there when one wants something and one finds it. The homes. They're just here.
Nothing to be achieved because all things have been achieved. There is no work because all the work has been done.
That sounds very well. Does it please you?
Yes, I guess it does.
Oh, look. The men at the canvases across the way. They're painting. Is that doing something?
Oh, let's have a look.
What lovely paintings. Perfectly lovely, are they not?
Oh, this one's quite a good landscape.
And this one here. Do look at this one, Rita. You see? Perfectly lovely.
Oh, they're just the same. They're identical. Every flower, the tree, the hill, just the same in color and size. Angela.
What is it, darling?
3 men painting pictures, and each picture is exactly like the others.
There is just one perfect landscape of this sort. How could it be otherwise? There's only one way to be, to do, to paint. And that is perfect.
And there's just one perfect book because there's just one perfect way to set words down?
Of course, my love. The perfect way.
Oh, no.
I wish Laura were here.
Tell me this perfection. Is it conformity?
Angela, you wished me here.
Laura, he's full of questions.
Just one question, Laura. Is perfection conformity? Must everyone think and do and act and write and paint in just one way?
There is just one perfect way.
Oh, no, Zine didn't say I'd have to give up all the things that make me me, or that I couldn't work toward goals of achievement, or that I must give up challenge in order to live in the perfect place.
You are so different, Reeser.
Angela, what if I should leave you? What if I were no longer your love? Would that be all right with you?
If that is what you wish, perfectly all right, darling.
Perfectly.
Oh, you're crazy. Oh, Tuckett ought to be here. Oh, he should see what I've seen. He'd laugh his head off at me.
Tuckett?
Yeah, Tuckett. Someone with a chance to work and dream and set goals for himself. And make mistakes, honest mistakes. And gamble. To win or lose, he can take his chances.
I think this Tuckett must be a very strange man.
And I think this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time.
What an odd gesture. I've never seen one man strike another before.
Come on, Lark, get up. Let's make a good fight of it, huh? Let's make a perfect fight.
Your hand becomes a peculiar color.
You won't fight back? You won't fight back. Because there's no struggle here.
You mention this word struggle often. Is it a good word? Struggle?
Yeah. I think it is. They were smiling when I left. The whole village was smiling broadly, and they waved at me happily. I ran, and I walked, and I ran again. The mountains surrounding the great valley were tall and steep. I had to get through or around or over them somehow. I had to escape the perfect place.
You have further questions, Lisa?
Just one, Zine. How do I get out of here?
Get out? You want to leave the perfect place?
Yes, and I am leaving, and you can't stop me.
I would not try to stop you. If you really want to go, I will show you the way.
There's no trap?
No. There is one thing.
Yeah?
If you go, You can never return?
That's fine with me. In fact, that's perfect.
You'll be going back to the struggle.
This perfection is filthy. It's vicious, insidious.
You prefer the struggle, then?
To this? Oh, yes. Now, the struggle is wrong. It shouldn't have to be. But we'll work on it, every succeeding generation. At least there's work to be done, and the incentive is there to do it. Oh, brother, wait till I tell people about this perfect place.
Yes, Risa. Tell them you found the perfect place. Tell them about the beauty, the perfection, about Angela and La and me. Tell them you were here and you saw it, that there's no struggle. Tell them you saw all this and ran. Will anyone believe you?
My lips formed an answer, but no words came. And suddenly there was no zine and no perfect place. Only the rain beating on my face as I lay at the foot of a high wall. I felt the hard pain in my back. And then I remembered it all. The beggar, Bizerta, the walled Arab town beyond. Couldn't have happened very long before. Couldn't have lain there long. I remembered that Tuckett was staying at the Hotel North Africa, and I hurried there to him. Tuckett! Tuckett, open the door! Tuckett! Good heavens, what's all the racket about? Oh, I'm sorry. I was anxious to find you again. I got in a fight down in the native quarter, which was a mistake because I've been lying wet and cold in some back alley for an hour or so.
Why, it's Reeser, isn't it?
What? Well, of course, man. Oh, look, don't you remember at dinner earlier this evening?
Reeser, of course. And I remember the dinner. I haven't seen you since, but after all, I should remember it was only a year ago.
Under the direction of Norman MacDonald, Escape has brought you The Return by Kathleen Heights, starring Lawrence Dobkin. Featured in the cast were Edgar Barrier, Paul Dubov, Gene Bates, Howard Culver, and Lou Krugman. Your announcer, George Walsh. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are alone in a world of decay and desolation, looking down on what was once a great city, while coming slowly to meet you, a hand stretched out in greeting to you, is a beautiful girl whose very existence may be the cause of your death.
So listen next week when Escape brings you Jack London's classic novel, The Scarlet Plague. The little red schoolhouse of bygone days was something to be proud of, but in many parts of the country today it has become the little shabby schoolhouse, too little to house its students, its equipment outdated and inadequate, its teachers too few and underpaid. If your schools are like that, act with others in your community before the cost of repair and replacement gets astronomical. Act now in the interest of tomorrow's America. You hear America's favorite shows on the CBS Radio Network.
Instant Ralston and regular Ralston, the hot whole wheat cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy, helpless from the effects of a paralyzer ray, are in a lab ship out beyond the Jupiter orbit.
Sure gave us a stiff charge with that ray, Commander. It isn't even beginning to wear off.
Yes, and every second we lie here, Rinker and Betts are getting farther away.
What's that?
That equipment over there.
The equipment? But I just connected it.
Rinker must have hooked it up again. When that electrical charge builds up, this whole lab ship will be blown to pieces.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, The Wistful Wizard of Neptune's Moon. Attention, Space Patrol, prepare for invasion! Prepare for invasion! Hey, stop the whistle, stop the bells, hold everything. That's no invasion. That's a gang of Space Patrollers trying out their new monoview outer space helmets. This is Captain Dick Tufeld, Space Patrollers, right here to tell you all about the new and sensational monoview outer space helmet. A terrific helmet all of you can have for your very own. A whole foot high. It's got a sensational one-way eye plate that you can see out of, but nobody can see you. And when you look out that magic strata viewer, it's just like looking out at another planet. Everything has a strange and weird purple glow. It's built for real Space Patrollers, too. It has 2 full-size, real-for-sure-looking oxygen tanks and tubes printed on, and a gleaming lightning flash hood. Now, just think of the fun you can have with a monoview outer space helmet of your very own. And here's how to get it. Just buy a box of good hot Ralston. Then, with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and the instant or regular Ralston box top to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, The Wistful Wizard of Neptune's Moon. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy are making a brief tour of inspection of the spaceship emergency repair base on Neptune's second moon. In the routine life of the maintenance crew on this remote base, even an official inspection is regarded as a welcome relief from monotony. Right now, in the small recreation hall, the crew is putting on an informal home talent show in honor of Buzz and Happy. The 2 Space Patrollers are watching with amazement as an amateur magician completes a baffling trick.
Hey, this guy is great. What's his name, sir?
He was introduced as Wistful Wilbur, the Wizard of Neptune's Moon.
He acts as though he didn't know what he was doing, but he's terrific.
For my final trick, gentlemen, I'll need a volunteer from the audience. Will one of you men kindly come up here? Anybody. It won't matter because I've never tried this trick before in public. Cadet, would you mind?
Me?
Go ahead, Happy.
Oh, okay, sir.
Right up here, Cadet.
What do you want me to do?
Oh, just slide on the bench.
Sure, okay.
And now, gentlemen, when I say the magic word, why, the cadet here will rise up in the air and stand there till I tell him to come down. Now, watch closely. Arturus Kazan, rise.
What's happening? Hey, let me down.
You see, the cadet floats in midair. Thank you. Cadet, you may descend.
Smoking rockets, what a sensation.
Well, gentlemen, I got to get back to the work at the shop, so that concludes my part of the performance.
Later that evening, in another part of the repair base on Neptune's second moon, 2 men wait in a neat, well-equipped shop.
Betts, you can't be serious about this fellow, Wilbur, what's his name?
Crawford. Wilbur Crawford, I tell you, he's a wonder.
What you've described is impossible. You've been taken in by a few sleight-of-hand tricks and optical illusions. You're just a good amateur magician, nothing more.
Linker, haven't you heard of telekinesis, the control of physical objects by the human mind?
Sure, the theory's hundreds of years old, but it's never been proved.
Yeah, just the same, there are lots of intelligent scientists who believe it can be done.
Well, maybe. But I'll have to see it to believe it.
You saw it tonight in the recreation hall.
A trick, an illusion.
All right, have it your way. But you'll have to admit that Wilbur Crawford would be mighty useful to us if he can move objects without touching.
You seriously think he could take that microfilm from Lauren Wilson without Wilson being aware of it?
That's right. And without being suspected.
Suppose Crawford won't agree to try it.
Leave that to me. Hey, now, let me do the talk.
The Wistful Wizard of Neptune's moon.
Sorry it took me so long to get here, gentlemen. I had a hard time getting away from the gang at the rec hall.
That's all right, Crawford. Hey, nice act you put up.
Oh, it's nothing really. But you gentlemen didn't come here to discuss the magic act, did you? You said something was wrong with some of the instruments?
Yes, that's right, Crawford. The calibration is all off.
The calibration? Why, that's impossible. I checked them carefully on the testing equipment right here.
Yes, Crawford, the calibrations match perfectly when you run it. Unconsciously, your mind controls those instruments. They register exactly what you as a skilled machinist know they should register, even when they're out of adjustment. Let's face it, you have a strange and rare power that can move solid objects just by thought.
Yes.
Isn't that right?
Yes, but please don't tell the foreman. I wouldn't be able to work here.
Crawford, how would you like to work for Mr. Rinkler and me?
You mean you're willing to take a chance on me?
Sure. We'll take you to Neptune tonight. You can fly to Terra in style. In a space flight passenger special.
That sounds wonderful. Terra. Is that where your headquarters is?
No, but we'll meet you there. There's a little side job we'd like to have you do on the way. It's right up your alley.
Oh?
You see, Mr. Betts and I have been cheated by a man named Wilson, Lauren Wilson. He has something that belongs to us.
Why don't you go to the Space Patrol?
No, that wouldn't do any good. Wilson's too clever. If you can get our property away from Wilson without any trouble at all.
What do you mean?
You'll be aboard the same passenger ship as Wilson. Without any risk at all, you can concentrate on...
2 days later, in a central office on the man-made planet Terra, Commander Corey listens gravely as a prominent industrialist tells a strange story. At a nearby desk, Cadet Happy takes notes.
Those are the facts, Commander. The reel of microfilm definitely disappeared while I was aboard the Spaceflight Express between Neptune and Terra.
And the sealed can containing the microfilm was in your inside coat pocket at all times.
Yes, Commander.
You say this microfilm contained a detailed description of a new ion exchange process.
It's a formula that's worth millions, Commander. It would revolutionize manufacturing in several basic industries.
Is there a possibility that someone outside of your trusted associates knew about this process?
One man may know about it, but you can be sure he wasn't on that spaceship.
He could have an agent. Who is this man?
His name is Anson Rinkler. I've learned he's on Terra. I had the misfortune to have some dealings with him a year or so ago.
What kind of dealing?
He operates a lab ship, a pretty well-equipped one. I hired him to do a little field work for me. I fired him when I found him analyzing my private papers instead of chemicals.
Well, there's one way to find out if Rinkler knows anything about the missing microfilm.
How, sir?
Ask him. What's his address?
Bet you expecting anyone?
No. Maybe it's a client.
Maybe you probably better step into the next room.
Sure, Mr. Rinker.
Leave the door ajar, Betts. If this turns into a business deal, I'd like to have a witness.
Sure, Rinker. I get it.
Oh. Yes, gentlemen?
I'm looking for Anson Rinker.
That's me. Something wrong?
I'd like to ask you a few questions. I'm Commander Corey.
Yes, Commander. Come in.
Thanks. Come on, Happy.
Yes, sir.
Rinker, do you know Lauren Wilson?
The manufacturer? Yes. Nothing happened to him, I hope.
He was robbed.
Oh? Surely you don't think that...
If you know nothing about the robbery, then you wouldn't object to taking a brainograph test.
A brainograph test? Now, see here,
I
Commander.
guarantee that we'll ask you only one question. I'll tell you what it is right now. Do you have any knowledge of the theft of a roll of microfilm belonging to Lauren Wilson? Now, will you come down to headquarters and submit to that one question on the brainograph?
Well, this comes as somewhat of a shock, as being suspected of such a crime. I'd like
Hear
a
that,
moment
Crawford?
to think about it.
We've got to get Mr. Rinker out of this.
But if that microfilm is really Mr. Rinker's and not Mr. Wilson's, the brainograph will prove it.
Don't you see? Wilson and Corey are in a conspiracy. Wilson will use his money and influence to show that he's just the victim instead of the real thief. And you'll be arrested along with poor Mr. Rinker.
But I didn't do anything wrong. I was only helping Mr. Rinker get his own property back.
Just try to prove that. Look, we've got to stop Corey.
But they're armed.
Now, yeah. But I think you could do something about them. Huh, Prophet?
You want me to...
Right.
Mr. Rinker, are you coming with us?
I'll ask my partner. Betts, should I go along?
I don't think it'll be necessary, Mr. Rinker.
Thank you, Betts. I'm staying here, Commander.
You had your chance to come willingly, Rinker. Keep them both covered, Happy.
Yes, sir. Commander, my ray gun's gone.
And yours is gone, too, isn't it, Commander? However, Mr. Betts is armed.
Get Rinker, Hap.
Let him have it, Betts. Ah, splendid work, Betts. You too, Crawford. You disarmed them from clear across the room. Now, come on, let's get to our ship and blast off while Corey and the cadet are unconscious.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment.
Ready, Captain Cecil? Got your helmet?
Helmet set.
Eye plate in place?
Check.
Oxygen tanks full up?
Check again, Space Patroller.
Then helmets on and let's go.
Yes, sir, Space Patrollers. We're off on a trip to the Purple Planet. How do we get there? Just by putting on our Montague outer space helmets. And, gang, when you put on your own space helmet, you'll be looking out on another world. A weird, strange, purple planet. You can look out, but that magic one-way eye plate won't let anybody else see in. The Montague outer space helmet is a whole foot high. It fits just anybody. And it's equipped with 2 full-size, honest-to-goodness-looking oxygen tanks printed right on. And a neat lightning flash hood. It comes in real space colors, too. Red, yellow, green, and black. Yes, it's sure terrific, so you better get yours right away. Just buy a box of good hot Ralston. Then with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and an instant Ralston or regular Ralston box top to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in the USA and may be withdrawn at any time. And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure, the Wistful Wizard of Neptune's Moon. Wilbur Crawford, a precision machinist, possesses the rare power of controlling the movement of objects by sheer thought. Through trickery, Crawford has been persuaded to use this strange talent to steal a microfilm description of a valuable chemical process from Loren Wilson, a prominent industrialist. When Wilson's suspicions led Commander Corey and Cadet Happy to the apartment of Anson Rinker, chief conspirator in the theft plot, the gullible Crawford was induced to disarm Buzz and Happy by means of his weird control over matter. Then Rinker's partner Betts drew a ray gun, rendered the Space Patrollers unconscious, and the 3 men escaped. It's now an hour later, and Buzz and Happy are shaking off the effects of the ray gun.
You know one thing, Hap. Rinker is behind the theft of Wilson's chemical process.
Yeah, and that magician Crawford must have done the actual stealing.
Now, we won't find a solution standing here talking. Rush back to headquarters and send out an all-planets alarm for the 3 of them.
Meantime, far from the regular space lanes, a spaceship blasts through the void. 2 men watch the rear viewscope anxiously, while the third sits in moody silence. Finally, Wilbur Crawford raises his head.
I've been thinking it over, Mr. Rinker. I don't want to run away.
Don't be foolish, Crawford. You realize what'll happen if the Space Patrol finds you?
I don't care. I'm willing to take my chances with the Space Patrol.
Look, I know you don't like being a fugitive, but don't worry. When we sell Wilson's chemical process, we can hide out in style the rest of our lives.
Wilson's process? Then you were lying to me. I wasn't getting back something that belonged to you after all.
I guess I gave it away, Rinker. Sorry.
It's time our wizard here got wise to himself anyway. Crawford, you've got a talent we could use. So we used it.
You'll never use it again, and neither will I.
Oh, I think we will. You've got a younger sister, I believe.
Sister? I don't know what you're talking about.
Your sister Verna, a math teacher at Lowell City High School on Mars. Lovely girl. Plans to get married next summer, I understand.
What's my sister got to do with this?
Nothing. Except that I'm going to contact one of my men on Mars and suggest that he look after Verna.
You leave her alone, do you hear?
Just behave yourself and cooperate with Mr. Betts and me, and nothing will happen to your sister. What do you say, Crawford?
What are you going to do with me?
For the time being, we'll stay out here beyond the regular lanes. Then we'll go to Mars and transfer to my lab ship. By that time, the Space Patrol will figure we're headed toward one of the outer planets.
Then we're going to hide out on Mars, eh?
No. We'll head for Mercury. We'll leave Mars as soon as we can.
You aren't going to try to land in Lowell City, are you?
Of course not. My lab ship is several DUs north of the city, near the old bauxite mine. You don't have to worry about that, Crawford.
Now, just do what you're told, and you'll keep your sister in good health.
Yeah. Sit on the spacer phone. Bets will put through that crawler man in Lowell City.
Okay. Hey, what are you talking about? The space phone's already on. You just flipped the switch yourself.
I did? I guess I must have. Funny how an action gets to be automatic. Rinker aboard Space Cruiser NP.
In Space Patrol headquarters on Terra, Commander Corey gives Cadet Happy a printed copy of a space-of-own conversation picked up by the monitoring station.
Well, where was the spaceship that was sending this? 400,000 DUs from Terra, 70 degrees above the plane of our orbit. What's our next move, sir? I've already assigned 3 of our Mars agents to guard Crawford's sister, Verna. We'd better be getting to the spaceport.
He's going after Rinker, huh?
I figure we've got time to reach his lab ship north of Lowell City before Rinker gets there. We'll give him a surprise party.
What about our ship? Suppose there's no place to hide it near the mine.
We won't try to hide it. We'll pick up a pilot in Lowell City and have him drop us off near Rinker's hideout. Come on, Happy.
The Martian sun is low on the horizon when a private cruiser blasts into the thin atmosphere and heads for a gouged and furrowed area north of Lowell City. After a careful check in all directions, Anson Rinker sets the cruiser down in the red dust close to a lab ship. In an aft compartment of that ship, Cadet Happy presses a sensitive instrument against the bulkhead while Commander Corey slowly regulates a dial.
In the ship now, that was the hatch closing.
When do we jump in?
I'll find out for sure whose side Crawford is on.
We're blasting off.
Just make yourself comfortable here in this compartment, Robert. Read if you like. A long way to Mercury, the Vector Witness.
Why can't I go up to the control compartment?
Because Mr. Rinker thinks you'll be better off back here where you can't see the instrument. Something wrong with you?
Plenty.
Then let's get back to the control.
Well, the ship's okay. It's on automatic. But the space patrol's onto us.
Huh?
I just got a spaceophone message from a man who was to pick up Crawford's sister. That's the space patrol is guarding her. Our man was almost captured.
I don't get it. How'd they find out where we were going to? Unless Wonder Boy here.
Sure, he turned our spaceophone transmitter on when we were in the other ship.
I might have known it. Crawford, I ought to
You
not...
better not bet. The space patrol knows everything now. You don't have a chance.
Not giving up that easy. They don't know everything. They'd be looking for the lab ship. Now, what if...
Hold it.
Huh?
Don't let Crawford know what we're going to do. With that remote control mind of his, there's no telling what he can do.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I'll just fix that. There, he can't do anything when he's unconscious. Now, here's what
It's working now, huh? Here, I'll turn up the gain.
That little scout you fool both of us. Sure I will. Put up with the Wistful. Just leave it, can I? Uh-huh. But we'll make sure he won't give us any more trouble. There are a lot of chemicals in the lab compartment, enough to pull this ship apart, you think that? We'll rig up something to blow up the ship after we get away. And I know just the guy at the time the explosion come on.
Those murdering rats. Now's the time to get away, Happy. They know this lab layout. We don't. If we rush them now, they may try something desperate.
Moments pass, tedious moments that seem like hours. Then, through the sonic detector, Buzz and Happy hear voices again.
Now's the time to cut loose in the scout. No, not yet. Put a few more hundred DUs between us and Mars.
All right, Happy. Let's get to the lab compartment. Bring the sonic detector along.
Yes, sir.
In here, Happy. Shut the door.
Is this what they're going to blow the ship up with?
What they plan to use. This device here builds up an electrical charge very gradually, at a steady rate. When it reaches a certain intensity, the charge is released into these chemicals.
Wow. Sort of a time bomb.
Exactly. Pull that switch, Happy.
Yes, sir.
Now let's work our way up to the control compartment and take care of that.
But isn't it about time, Rinker?
Yeah, we might as well get going. I'll go back to the lab and boost the current a little.
Oh, that's been worrying. What if you miscalculate?
I know what I'm doing. I'll readjust the charge so we'll have half an hour to get clear of the ship.
Somebody's in the corridor.
I heard it, too.
It's Crawford, too.
I doubt it. They'll You open that door fast. I'll be ready with the paralyzer later. Okay. Ready? Now!
Commander, they've seen us.
You're too late, Corey.
Nice going, Rinker.
Yeah, it was close. Well, Crawford's going to have company during his last moments anyway.
Yeah. The commander-in-chief, no less, and his cadet.
Moments later, Rinker and Betts, far out in space, are in their tiny scout ship. And in the doomed lab ship, Buzz and Happy are regaining the use of their vocal cords, even though the paralyzer ray still numbs the rest of their bodies.
Well, at least we got off better than Crawford did. They must have slugged him. Look at his head. He's out cold. Well, he ought to be able to move in a few minutes, Hap. Then we'll get to the controls. What's that? The equipment over there. The equipment? But I disconnected it. They hooked it up again. That electrical charge builds up, this whole ship will be blown to pieces. Smoking rockets by the looks of those sparks. Well, it won't be long now. Commander, Crawford's coming too. Crawford.
Yes. What happened?
Crawford, do you hear that? It's a time bomb Rinker set. And if you don't get up and pull that switch, we'll be blown up.
I can't move.
Oh, sure. They gave you a blast with the paralyzer ray, too. Crawford, there isn't much time left for any of it.
I know. And I want to get it all off of my chest. I stole that microfilm from Wilson, but I didn't think it was rightfully his. That's the truth, honest.
I believe you. How did you do it?
Rinker and Beth called it telekinesis.
The power of the mind to control matter. Crawford, try it now. Try it on that switch.
Switch? What switch?
That big one at the bottom of the control panel. You better hurry. Right, Happy. Let's concentrate.
Hey, you did it. You did it, Crawford.
Elsewhere on their tiny scout ship, Rinker and Betts cruise on low power, waiting for a distant flash that will tell them that Buzz, Happy, and Crawford have been destroyed.
You must have miscalculated, Rinker. The ship should have blown up by now.
I don't understand it.
Hey, Rinker, look. The review scope. There's a spaceship.
Confounded Betts, why weren't you watching?
Look, I've been looking for the explosion. The lab ship. Our lab ship.
Now, don't get panicky. We can probably outmaneuver him until Thacker gets here from Mercury.
Yeah.
What's wrong? The controls won't respond.
Do something, Rinker. Corey's almost close enough to pull us in with the magnetic holding field.
What's the matter with these controls?
Commander Corey aboard lab ship ML-284. Holding Anson Rinker aboard scout ship. Cut your power.
Corey, all right. What are we going to do?
Better cut your power, Rinker. Try to fight the magnetic holding field. You'll pull the skin right off that little space boat.
Right. He's right. Do what he said.
Yeah. All right, Corey. You win. But if these controls hadn't fouled up...
They didn't foul up, Rinker. They worked beautifully. They were operated from this ship.
What?
That's right, Rinker. And here's the fellow that helped capture you. The Wistful Wizard of Neptune's moon.
You can have this wizard business. From now on, I'm just a plain Wistful mechanic.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. Hey, Space Patrollers, what's that? What's going on over at the Browns' house? Uh-oh, I know now what the trouble is. Jimmy's got his monoview outer space helmet on.
Hi, Captain Two-Fells. Even my own dog doesn't know me with my new helmet on. Just got it this morning. Sure is swell.
That's right, Jimmy. You can see out.
But nobody else can see in. Fooled 3 of my pals already today.
Yes, that two-way mirror strataviewer will do it every time.
Feel like a real spaceman, too, with oxygen tanks, breathing tubes, and lightning flash hood printed right on.
Yes, and you look like one, too. Now, how about you, Space Patrollers? I bet you'd all like to have one, wouldn't you? Well, all it cost you is 25 cents. That's right, only 25 cents, and the top from a box of instant Ralston or regular Ralston. Yes, sir, gang, just a quarter and a box top for the sensational, terrific, full-size monoview outer space helmet. So buy a package of good, hot Ralston today. And then with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and the instant or regular Ralston box top to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Attention, all Space Patrollers. All Space Patrollers. Attention.
This is your commander with big news that you've been waiting for. News about the Name the Planet contest. Next week, you will hear the name of the grand prize winner in the Name the Planet contest. Yes, in just 7 days, you'll know the name of the space patroller who wins my rocket ship and $1,500 cash. And who knows, it may be you. So stand by and be sure you're listening to Space Patrol next week for the name of the grand prize winner in the great Name the Planet contest.
And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure.
Commander Corey, at the controls of the Terra 5, pilots the ship close to a strange, disc-shaped object floating above the planet Venus. Cadet Happy is on the disc in a spacesuit, reporting to the commander by spaceophone.
Can you make anything out of those controls and instruments, Happy?
Well, no, sir. They're nothing like you'd find in a spaceship or artificial satellite, and besides, they're not even connected.
The disc seems to be defying gravity. Don't touch anything, Hap.
You see, these wires are just hanging loose. It looks like they've been yanked away from... Hey, Commander, what's wrong?
The disc is falling toward Venus.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story In the Claw of Venus, when Instant Ralston and Regular Ralston again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Ben Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Bela Kovach, Norman Jolly, Ken Mayer, and Stephen Robertson. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Instant Ralston and Regular Ralston again present Space Patrol!
This is Dick Tufeld in Los Angeles, reporting on the first airplane with swept-back wings used in the U.S. Air Force, North American's F-86 Sabre jet fighter. In a moment, we'll hear from George Welch, the famous test pilot on the Sabre jet. The Sabre is 37 feet long, weight 8 tons. Wings are swept back at a 35-degree angle. Top speed more than 650 miles per hour. Now, George Welch recorded at Edwards Air Force Base.
I was lucky enough to fly the F-86 Sabre jet for the first time. The first time up, or the 50th, every flight is important. That's why I have to keep in top shape. I like to eat good food with lots of energy in it. Rice Chex and Wheat Chex meet that test, and they taste exactly right. I think you'll like them, too.
No other cereal, puff, or flakes contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So take a tip from George Welch, Joe Lynch, and other top test pilots. Make your cereals Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. And here's big news. Inside of Chex, you now get a thrilling new Space Patrol trading card. Flip 'em, collect the entire set of 40. Free Space Patrol trading cards inside of Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast for Armed Forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.